this meeting to order. This is the April 8th, 2025 regular town council meeting of the town of Star Valley Ranch. It is 7 p.m. We do have all councilmen in attendance, so we have a quorum and we can conduct business. Also, let the record show that we have Town Administrator Aiken, Town Treasurer Mason, and Town Clerk Gray in attendance. If I could please get everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Okay. First item on the agenda is to reconvene the regular meeting. May I have a motion to reconvene the regular meeting of the Town Council?
I motion that we reconvene the regular meeting.
Thank you. And a second, please?
I'll second.
I have a motion from Councilman Bitter and a second from Councilman Ellis. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Hearing none opposed, the meeting is reconvened. The next item on the agenda is to adopt the agenda, but before we do that, I would like to add an agenda item, item 9C, which would be the conditional use application approval for Viking Development. So may I have, with the addition of that, may I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
I so move that we approve the agenda as amended.
Thank you. Moved by Councilman Toolson. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilman Ellis. All in favor?
Aye.
The amended agenda is adopted. All right, next item on the agenda, announcements and proclamations, which we do not have any this evening. Moving on to item 6, this is the public comment portion of the regular town council meeting. If anyone that's in attendance has any public comment you'd like to make to the town council on an item that is not already on the agenda, if you could please come up to the podium and state your name and so make your
Would this be a good time for me?
Absolutely, sir.
I'm Municipal Judge Larry Lawton. I think I know most of you, and I'm required by statute to report to the town council once a month. Frequently, I'll do that by just writing the report that you have before you and turning it in. But since this is the first time I've had the opportunity to do this since my appointment, I thought I should come give you my report in person and simply say I'm delighted to serve as your municipal judge, and wonder if you have any questions, comments, anything of that nature for me.
I would just like to say I appreciate the fact that you're giving us these written reports, which are apparently something that is required to be done, but it's very helpful for the council to see what's happening in court, especially if they're not able to come to the court. So thank you for that.
No, thank you. They have a good staff. Jim's a good guy to work with. All in all, it's so far 2 months.
I mean, you go out first.
Yeah. Unlike Thane, where there are 4 incorporated municipalities in Star Valley. Have to be big town gets a circuit court. The other 3 have municipal courts, and I am the municipal judge in Thane and in Star Valley Ranch. The thing that we don't have so much of here is a main highway running through. So we don't have a lot of traffic citations here, which will be an interesting experience, except thou shalt not push your snow across the road.
As evidenced by the report.
Yeah, and you can see the importance of that. It can be an interference with traffic. You're not watching where you're going and you're not going the right way on the street. So I think that statute and regulation merits the enforcement pressure that we're giving. So that works out well. Okay. Any more questions?
So thank you, we really appreciate having you as our judge now.
Thank you.
I got in on a flight at 3 o'clock this morning and I'm going home.
Oh my, well, have a good evening, thank you very much.
Right, take care.
Is there any additional public comment? Yes, Mr. Thacker?
Am I supposed to give my name?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Even though I just said it, but yes, please.
My name is Ron Thacker, and I live at 247 Porter Road, and I just want to thank the town and the commission for getting the chlorine out of the drinking water. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It doesn't taste like the lower Colorado River water anymore, so,
It's nice to have it gone.
yeah, I really appreciate it being gone, and thank you very much for getting through and doing that. That's all I got to say.
Just the town staff gets the credit on that one, so really appreciate everything they're doing to keep the water quality where it needs to be, so. And all test results were great this month, so good to go. Any other public comment this evening? Okay. All right, thank you for that. We're going to move on to adopting the consent agenda. So the consent agenda includes approving the minutes from the March 11th work session, the March 11th regular town council meeting, the March 26th work session. We also have a community board appointment. Dan Stewart is going to be a new member of the Water Utility Board with a term that goes through 2027. The consent agenda also includes the disbursements and the special municipal officers report. So may I have a motion to approve? Actually, before we do that, take that back. Are there any items from the consent agenda that the council wants to move forward to the regular agenda? Or we're good adopting it as is? If so, can I get a motion to adopt the consent agenda, please?
I so move that we adopt the consent agenda.
Okay, thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Councilman Merrill and seconded by Councilman Bitter. All in favor?
Aye.
Hearing none opposed, the motion carries. All right, and with that, we will move on to ordinances. We have 3 on the agenda, and the first one is ordinance 2025-3, and I believe Councilman Toolson, I pegged you for that one this evening?
You did.
Oh, but before we do that, I apologize. Can we get a motion to read by title and explanation?
I make a motion that we read by title and explanation.
Thank you. And a second, please?
I'll second.
And we have a motion by Councilman Toolson, second by Councilman Merrill to read by title and explanation. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion carries. Thank you. Now, Councilman Toolson.
All right. Ordinance 2025-03, Title 3, Administration, Chapter 33, Town Organization. This is the second reading, and there have been no changes. Let me see it. Sorry, the explanation is this ordinance updates existing code to add the alternate member and clarify language for the Travel and Tourism Board. And there's no additional comments on that or changes.
So you can go ahead and give us a motion to approve the second reading.
So I make a motion that we approve the second reading.
And may I have a second, please?
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved by Councilman Toolson and seconded by Councilman Merrill. Does anyone in the public have any questions on this one? Yes, Ms. Willis.
Sandy Willis, Cedar Creek Drive. On the second page, for the expert advice, my question is, will the expert receive compensation based on the expert's normal fees? Because generally, when you consult an expert, they have a fee. And I can't imagine anybody coming over to give their advice. They get paid for it. So
Right.
there's no mention of compensation for an expert when you use an expert.
I'm gonna look at the town clerk and town administrator. Typically, we have not provided any compensation for experts. I suppose it would depend, in future, if somebody was required that might be requesting some sort of compensation, then maybe that would just be sort of an individual contract type situation. I don't know if the council has any comments on that or any other questions. So it's a good observation though, because you're right. Very often experts are not free.
They're not,
So,
and we do have money in the
fund. So
Okay.
I was just wondering.
Okay, no, thank you. Just make a note of that for something for us to consider and keep in mind as they go forward, especially with some of the things they're gonna be looking at in future, so. Any questions from the council on this one? It's pretty straightforward, okay? All in favor?
Aye.
Hearing none opposed, the second reading passes, okay? Moving on, we have a couple of new ordinances. This one, I believe I asked Councilman Ellis to do that one, thank you.
First reading of ordinance 2025-04, Title 15, Land Usage, Chapter 154, Zoning. This is an update to existing code to update language regarding solar power systems and other personal utilities, specifically rooftop solar systems, pole-based solar systems, and the inclusion of enhanced advanced septic treatment systems as directed by NSF Standard 40 for all new homes and replacement of existing homes. I move we adopt the second reading of ordinance 2025-04.
It's been moved by Councilman Ellis. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bitter. Are there any questions from the public on this one? Yes.
Golly. It was just Sandy Willis, Cedar Creek Drive. And I was reading through it, and I just have some, maybe these are just housekeeping things, but on my second page, it says solar systems can be roof mounted, and probably should be, this is just housekeeping. The word should be may. It may be, you can't do anything, but it may. Anyway, it's picky. But the language is vague as to the next one, which is no solar system and/or solar collector shall cause undue hardships to the rights of the adjacent property owners. Undue hardships is really vague, and it's really what you think is an undue hardship may not be an undue hardship for somebody else. And I think you need to do some clarification on that wording right there. Going down, that was, I guess it's 4 now. The local code, in paragraph A there, and there it says local code, and which code, the building code, the solar code, what code are you referring to there? And I would like to know, what about these pole heights? How high are the poles going to be? Are they going to be like here, or like here? Or, you know, it's not specific, and it's so general that it could be any height. And so that might need to be looked at just a little bit. And the last one, D, plans should include watts. And it goes on. Probably should put shall in there, because should means you can do it if you want to, and you don't have to if you don't want to. That language is very iffy. Will, shall.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the next one, sewer. The town requires the new treatment systems. When I was living in Montana, where we lived, we had septic, but then the town put in, the city, it was actually a city, put in a sewer and took a specific area that we were in the sewer area, the new sewer area, and they had us all connect, but they charged us a fee for connection. And I noticed there's no mention of fee, and so you might be able to put in some kind of wording that an anticipated fee in the future, because connections aren't free.
This is not a connection to anything. This is just the enhanced septic system.
No, it says here, shall be required to connect to that system of sewers. If you put a sewer system in here, they will be.
Oh, should a sewer system, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
from the
so
existing
maybe a
ordinance.
fee, you should
Yeah.
consider a fee, a connection fee of some kind.
You don't want to know what that would be.
Well, I know. In one town that we lived in California, it was $8,000 on every house. It was a bond they put on, and that was for utilities, and it was for sewer. But, you know, it's gonna, you can't do it for free either. You know, so those are just the things I noticed as I read it.
Thank you
Just
for
something
those.
to bring to your attention.
Appreciate that. It's first reading, so we had a couple of other, I had another conversation this afternoon about this ordinance and some of the, we had some questions internally about the solar portion. So you probably see some edits and
Changes.
things coming up on the second reading. So any questions, comments from the council on this one? We still have time to work on it and improve it before it gets finalized. All right. So it was moved by Councilman Ellis and seconded by Councilman Bitter. All in favor? Aye. Hearing none opposed, the first reading carries. And now, this would be the first reading of our budget ordinance for 2025, 2026. And I believe we pinned the rose on Councilman Bitter to help us walk through this evening. So Councilman Bitter.
All right, so this is the first reading of for the Town of Star Valley Ranch, Wyoming Ordinance 2025-05, which is the appropriations for fiscal year 2025 and 2026, or fiscal year 2026, starting in July, on July 1st of 2025. Explanation: an ordinance providing operating and capital budgets for the Town of Star Valley Ranch for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, as I mentioned, ending June 30th, 2026. The way we've structured the budget this year with the help of the staff, thank you to the treasurer and to Town Administrator Aiken for all their assistance to get us to this point. We are comparing our 2025 estimate of spending and income versus a preliminary first reading budget for 2026. Some of the major items when we go through, and I'll just highlight this, I won't take a huge amount of time, but there's a few things that are significant to us that are changing. Number one is the property taxes in the general fund are estimated to be down about 20% this year due to the exemption that has been passed in the Wyoming legislature and signed by the governor. We expect that to have about $110,000 reduction. That's best estimate right now that we can come up with. The tax assessors are working that, or county assessors are working on what that really means to us, because again, anything over $1 million of property value is not exempt. It's just that first $1 million. So taking that into account, that $110,000 estimate is included in the budget. We've also looked at the sales and use tax. What shows here is a 10% increase in this first reading. Since then, we've learned and received some different information. We're sorting through that. I don't think it'll be as high as even it was in 2025, so we could have a shortfall there as well. But for right now, the budget includes a 10% increase based on the last 5-year trends. Everything else on the income side, or most of the other things, are general inflationary factor increase for about 3.5%. But overall, our general fund revenue looks like it's going to be right around $3 million for next year, versus just shy of $3 million in 2025. So 0.8% increase on this first reading. On the expense side for general fund, we are targeting. We've had a relook at the allocation of labor, salary and wages specifically in the different departments, and understanding how much time people are applying towards water versus general fund. And so there have been some significant reallocations of personnel and their time. We have also posted that schedule online if you wanted to take a look at it and see how the allocation of personnel is defined by department. But this schedule here just goes through and identifies the key spend in each department, 2025 versus 2026. And in general fund, there's a slight reduction spending year over year, but all of that is related to the reallocation of salary and wages to water. So more of the salary and wages are going to the water department. Next section is just the excess revenues over expenditures. And for general fund, it will be up, and we're forecasting about $153,000 up in this first reading, and we'll continue to refine that as we go along. And that excludes all capital. The next item is the capital list that we've identified in the, for general fund, and those are the projects that we are considering. It doesn't mean we're going to do them all. We're just putting them in there, and we're gonna refine this list and define it as we go through second reading, and then we'll finalize it for the third reading. But it gives all the residents an opportunity to see what we're planning on spending in the next calendar or fiscal year. The general fund cash balance reserves in February of 2024, they were 2.9. In February of 2025, they were 2.5 million. We estimate by the end of June, we'll have about 2.6 million in general fund cash balances or reserves. And for 2026, we expect the overall number to drop because of the amount, if you were to adopt all or authorize all the capital spending that's in there, which is a significant amount. So, and the bulk of that's going to be the 1.2 million for Vista the paving Vista, and that includes a new road base as well. So with that, then the water fund, try to make this short and sweet, but the water fund the same way, looking at it, total revenue, 1.8 million in 2025. We're gonna go at about 1.8 million in 2026, so a slight increase of 0.6%. In this first reading, we are looking at any of the fees to see if there's any adjustments that need to be made, but at this time, for first reading, we haven't identified any increases for the base or the service available fee. That's a lot.
There's an alarm going off, so.
Is it a car?
I'm not sure.
Was that my time is up? Okay. No, it's a motion. So the water fund's expenses, again, we had talked about the salary and reallocation of salary and wages. That has a significant increase in the water fund expenses, and so that's scheduled to go up about $475,000 for that group. And so taking that into account, if you go to the excess, we're forecasting a reduction in, or a deficit for water fund, decreasing our reserves before the allocation or the CapEx. And CapEx is gonna be, you can see the projects we're identifying. There's two very large projects, the Green Canyon Water Tank and the Prater Delivery Line. Those two, we've put limited spending in 2026 because these will most likely be multi-year projects. So the end number in the capital budget would be the spend, the cash spend, whereas the total authorized amount is in the first one. So again, just managing that as we go. This is the first pass. We're going to take a deeper dive into it to understand what we can afford out of our reserves, not to drop them too low. And then last but not least, you can see the water fund cash balances. 3.1, 3.7 at February, 3.4 scheduled or estimated for June, and then 1.8 if we spend the money that we're looking at. So that's dropping that reserve down quite a bit. And then total combined, it just relates to the total revenue, total excess, and in this case deficit due to the higher spending, and the reduction in property taxes is also having an impact. And on the cash authorization side, you can see we could spend 3.6 million if we did all the projects. And so we're going to prioritize those, take a harder look at it, and see what makes sense for the second reading. Estimated cash balances, you can see the budget is estimated to be 3.5 total if you spent the 3.6. So with that, do we ask questions now, or do I do a motion now?
Do the motion first.
Okay. Motion to approve this first reading of the 2026 appropriations and annual budget.
We have a motion by Councilman Bitter, can I have a second?
I'll second.
And a second by Councilman Ellis. Any questions from the public on this? I know it was a lot, and it's different than we've done it in the past few years, but I think it's fairly straightforward, so. And we are gonna get 2 more cracks at this before we finalize it, so this is our opening volley, so to speak.
Yes.
Any questions? Okay. Any questions from the council? No? All right. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Hearing none opposed, the first reading of the 2025-2026 budget passes. Okay. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, which are resolutions and motions, and we have several items here to cover. The first one is we have a lodging tax grant application from the Friends of the Bridger Teton National Forest, which has been recommended to the council by the Travel and Tourism Board. And if I can, Councilman Toolson, do you want to kind of just give a quick little summary on what that grant is asking for, and then you can move to the motion?
Sure. So the Friends of Bridger Teton has reached out to us and have been talking to the Travel and Tourism Board for quite a while. They would like to have 2 ambassadors live at Grover Park for the majority of the summer, and are asking us for money because we are a neighboring community to Grover Park. They're asking for us to kind of jump on board with them to have these ambassadors. In kind of the communication back and forth between them and us, we've asked them to have way more visibility here than just being in Grover. We're not just gonna give them money to be in Grover. They are looking to, they've had, according to the Forest Service, Grover has been kind of overrun. A lot of, it's kind of a rodeo out there. People are doing what they want. They're not abiding by wildland firefighter, or like, they're not putting out their fires. They're campers, or just moving around when they need to be every 14 days. There's just not a lot of authority out there, and these ambassadors help the Forest Service educate and how to recreate responsibly. And so they have said, we will also bring those 2 people here for at least 1 day a week to kind of, 1 day a week?
Or
They're really willing to work with us
Yes.
for whatever we want. They're gonna have people at our trailheads and doing data mining or data research, talking to people, making sure people are abiding by the rules of the Forest Service. They're asking us for $7,896, which covers the 2 ambassadors.
On a portion of the ambassadors.
I
No, that's all
think
of
that's it, the
So
whole
we're
thing.
paying for the
We're
whole
paying for
thing.
all of it,
Okay,
yes.
I missed
Yeah.
that part.
They're still working, they're trying to get funds from Afton and Alpine, as well. Alpine, I think, has already said they're
Yeah.
agreeing to it. Afton is tonight, they're talking to Afton. So,
Okay,
does anybody, do you want me to?
go ahead and do the motion,
Okay.
and then we'll ask for questions.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I move to approve the Travel and Tourism Lodging Tax Grant for the Friends of Bridger Teton for $7,896 to be used for the Ambassadors for Responsible Recreation Program to support and promote trail use in the town of Star Valley Ranch area.
Thank you. We have a motion by Councilman Toolson. Is there a second?
I'll second.
And seconded by Councilman Merrill. Any questions from the public about this grant? Yes.
Is this just our portion of a total that Alpine and Afton will also contribute, or are we just doing it, or is it a solo?
It's solo.
Yes.
Us solo for those 2?
2, yes. And then our understanding from what we heard today is that Alpine will be paying for 2 more that will be up in the
By
Grace
the Grace
River.
River,
Yeah,
yes.
on Grace River
Okay.
Road. And then we'll see what happens with Afton, because
Mhm.
Friends is just talking to them this evening, since they have a tourism board too. Any
And I
other
would just like
questions?
to add, sorry, Craig Adler, who's been in charge, and Victor Padilla, who've put a lot of time into our trails. If any of you use them, they're amazing. They do a great job. They have a great relationship with these guys, and I think that will only continue to grow. And I think I personally think it's a great great relationship, and it's only a one-year deal. If we decide next year we don't want to do it again, it was bad, then that is what it is, but.
I think a consideration should be that some of the people that live in the town here, we will go up there too during the summer. Visitors here will
Right.
go up there, so
Oh,
I think the contribution is nice.
A great idea.
Yeah.
Are there any, the council have any other comments or questions on this one that you wanted? I agree with that sentiment. You know, this is sort of like a foothold for them to try this at the ambassador program here in Star Valley. And they're very focused up in Jackson, and elsewhere for that matter, working down in the southern part of the county in Kemmerer as well. So I think this is a great opportunity for like a trial run, a pilot program, and then we'll get a chance to reevaluate it, you know, if they come back again next year or so. Any other questions or comments on this one?
They did say that they were gonna go deep in the backcountry, you know, up on
Yeah.
tops where some of those lakes are. I don't know if they'll have a uniform or if you'll know who they are, but,
I think they have, from seeing trail ambassadors in Teton County, they usually have at least a vest or something, you know, that identifies them.
well, they're official.
Right.
Okay.
So.
Making sure there's no fire pits,
But I do think that if the community has things that, they're gonna try to come to our ranch rendezvous and do education at the Firewise program, so if you have any ideas, I think they're definitely open to it, so.
All right, if there are no more comments, we'll go ahead and take a vote. All in favor of approving this grant, please say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Abstain.
Okay, we have a majority of ayes and 1 abstention, so the grant is approved. Thank you, Councilman Toolson. All right, the next item on the agenda is a resolution for a moratorium on cryptocurrency mining operations within the commercial sector of town, and Councilman Merrill drew the short straw on this one. And so she has very nicely agreed to read this resolution for us this evening. So if you want to go ahead.
So resolution number 25-04-08-001, a resolution establishing a 240-day moratorium on cryptocurrency mining operations within the town of Star Valley Ranch, Wyoming. Whereas Title 15 of Wyoming statutes authorizes cities and towns to enact ordinances related to public health, safety, and welfare. Whereas the town of Star Valley Ranch has received interest in locating cryptocurrency mining operations on commercially zoned land within town boundaries. Whereas the town's zoning ordinance does not specifically define cryptocurrency mining as a commercial land use. Whereas cryptocurrency mining has the potential to negatively impact surrounding single-family residential areas due to excessive energy use, e-waste, pollution, and noise. Whereas the town council believes that a moratorium on commercially zoned land will allow the town time to consider whether cryptocurrency mining should be an allowable use of commercially zoned land, and to consider adoption of appropriate regulations necessary to protect the public health, safety, and welfare of town residents. Now therefore, be it resolved by the town of Star Valley Ranch that Section 1, a temporary moratorium is hereby imposed commencing on April 8th, 2025 and expiring no later than December 8th, 2025, or on the approval of a new zoning regulation regarding cryptocurrency mining within the town of Star Valley Ranch, whichever occurs first. This moratorium specifically includes all land uses that involve cryptocurrency mining in the town of Star Valley Ranch. The town will consider whether cryptocurrency mining requires considerable amount of electricity usage that will negatively impact town's residents' utility rates and will create additional pollution, e-waste, noise, and other local impacts on town residents living near a mining facility. The town is in the process of updating its master plan, which defines existing land uses, assesses future land use opportunities, and evaluates potential land use issues that may arise. The town desires to complete work on its updated master plan and to consider potential additions, amendments, and updates to the town's zoning ordinances to specifically address cryptocurrency mining. The town considered alternative solutions to a moratorium but found none. The town will seek a defined cryptocurrency mining as a specific land use and therefore seeks to place a moratorium on the use of property within town boundaries for cryptocurrency mining for a period of 8 months or until such a time that specific land use standards are enacted. The moratorium will maintain the status quo by limiting any negative effects on the single-family residential areas impacted by this potential use until a regulatory scheme can be developed. For the duration of the moratorium, cryptocurrency mining is defined as the commercial process by which cryptocurrency transactions are verified and added to the public ledger, known as the blockchain, and also the means through which new units of cryptocurrencies are released through the use of server farms employing data processing equipment. A server farm as used herein shall be 3 or more interconnected computers housing together in a single facility whose primary function is to perform cryptocurrency mining or associated data processing. Section 2, the moratorium shall begin on April 8th, 2025, and the moratorium shall terminate on December 8th, 2025, or upon enactment of an amendment to the town's zoning ordinance addressing use of property for cryptocurrency mining, whichever occurs first. This 8-month moratorium will allow the town to complete its updated master plan and determine zoning regulations to address this type of land use. The Town Planning Commission and town staff are directed to review and prepare updates to the town's zoning ordinances that address the acceptability of cryptocurrency mining on commercially zoned land, and if deemed acceptable, will seek to include provisions to mitigate any negative impacts associated with cryptocurrency mining prior to the expiration of the moratorium. Section 3, the town will hold 1 or more open meetings or work sessions to discuss cryptocurrency mining operations and impacts. Residents and all interested parties will be invited to participate and to provide input on the town's development of zoning ordinance amendments to address cryptocurrency mining within the town of Star Valley Ranch. Passed and adopted this 8th day of April 2025.
Thank you. That was a lot. This is what happens when you have lawyers help you with resolutions, so. Okay, can you go ahead and give us a motion to approve?
So I so move that we approve resolution number 250408-001 to establish a 240-day moratorium on cryptocurrency mining.
Thank you. Is there a second for the resolution?
I'll second.
And second, so we have a motion by Councilman Merrill and a second by Councilman Toolson. Are there any questions about the resolution from the audience? It was a lot. Okay. Any questions from the council? Concerns? Okay. Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. The resolution is adopted. All right, very good. All right, moving on to the agenda item that was added. This is agenda item 9C. It's the conditional use permit application for Viking Development, which is lot 5, the Red Barn commercial lot. We did discuss this during our town council work session today, and we do have an application for Mr. Allred from Viking Development for conditional use of the Red Barn property. The Planning Commission met and discussed this, and they deferred to the town council to make the decision, and we've talked about this a couple of times now. So from today, and I'm just going to read this really quickly, the town council discussed adding for the conditional use permit that there would be a few conditions. No staging or storage of construction or building materials or equipment outside of the Red Barn. And Mr. Allred has been in our meetings or attending our meetings where we've been talking about this. So any improvements made to the property, such as building modifications or relocation of entrances or driveways, or the addition of new structures, need to be coordinated and potentially permitted by a town building official. And then any change in the conditional use enumerated by the permit, if it is approved, would need to be resubmitted to the town for reapproval. We also discussed, if this is approved, to have a review every 2 years of the permits, unless there's a change that's required prior to that you came to the town for. I believe that is everything we talked about today. So I would like to ask for a motion to approve the conditional use permit for Viking Development.
I motion that we approve the application, whatever, for the conditional permitting for Viking, what was it?
Development.
Development.
Yes.
Development.
Thank you. We have a motion by Councilman Vitter. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilman Toolson. Any questions from the public on this one? Okay. Council, any questions? I know we've kind of batted this around quite a bit. All right. All in favor? Aye. Okay, hearing none opposed, the conditional use permit is approved, and we'll be getting you some fancy permit to hang somewhere in the red vine. So, thank you. Appreciate all your input and helping us kind of work through this process, which is at least new to this council and I think to our staff as well, so. Okay, I'm moving on to agenda item 10. We're going to move into a public hearing for a plat amendment. And let me get those. Wrong screen. And I believe the town clerk agreed to read through the recommendation from the planning commission on this.
Planning Commission received a plat amendment application on January 23rd, 2025 from Mr. and Mrs. Packard of 19 Fir Place, Plat 6, lots 89 and 90. The above-mentioned plats in Plat 6 were surveyed by Surveyor Sherwood Limited. Letters were sent to all landowners of the plat and lot numbers within the 300-foot radius of Plat 6, lots 89 and 90, as per our ordinances. During the 30-day public comment period, the Planning Commission received no written correspondence against the plat amendment request. Furthermore, during our public hearing meeting on March 26, 2025, there were no objections. The Planning Commission worked within the parameters of the Town of Star Valley Ranch ordinances and cannot find anything detrimental to the surrounding properties nor any ordinance within the purview of the Commission that permits Commission denial of this application. The Planning Commission hereby recommends that the Town Council approve the lot combination of Mr. and Mrs. Packard, 19 Fir Place, Plat 6, lots 89 and 90.
Thank you very much. Before we go to questions, could I get a motion from the town council to approve this plat amendment?
I motion that we approve the plat amendment. Combination for Mr. and Mrs. Packard at 19 Fir Place, Plat 6, Lot 7, 89 and 90.
Thank you, Councilman Toolson. We have a motion by Councilman Toolson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
And seconded by Councilman Merrill. Any questions from the audience on this one? There's a map up there on the projector showing where the property is.
Can't read it.
Sorry about that. It is, there's a giant size one in the packet if you look at it online, so you can,
So tell me the address again, please.
it is 19 Fir Place.
It's where?
Fir and Oak, that corner.
Yeah, 19 Fir Place.
Up off of this, please.
Well, I can't see that.
So you go off of Vista East, and you go further east towards the mountain. Do they have a house there
No, the intention of combining them is to be able to build a house.
on, yeah, okay. So there's no structure on it
Not
today?
currently,
Okay,
They did some clearing on that lot, didn't they?
I believe so.
okay.
Any other questions from the public? Any questions or concerns from the council?
I have one other question.
Yes.
I guess Steel Circle is putting on that, where he surveys it, that they still are replaying 2 assessments. Is that still written on all his paperwork?
Let's see.
Used to be.
I believe so.
Is it still on there? Okay, I have,
Something's changed there.
okay. Anything else? All right, hearing no other questions. All in favor?
Aye.
Hearing none opposed, the plat amendment is approved. All right, moving on to item 11. This is matters from the mayor and council. Councilman Bitter, anything you would like to bring forward?
No.
Okay, Councilman Toolson?
No.
Councilman Merrill?
We are still looking for road board members, so if anyone is interested, or actually having just a meeting to see if people are interested next week on Tuesday at 6 o'clock. 6, yeah, 6.
What's this for?
For the road board, we're still looking for members.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Ellis?
Yeah, the Natural Resources Board has flyers down in the mailroom above the Star Valley, not Star Valley, the Jackson Hole Daily list. I'm looking for volunteers to help with the trail maintenance.
Okay. Thank you. I don't believe I have anything. There is a planning commission meeting tomorrow at 5 PM. I think that's the only other scheduled town event for the week, so. Any save grounds or last comments from the council? All right, I will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I move we adjourn.
And a second?
Second.
I have a motion to adjourn from Councilman Ellis and a second from Councilman Bitter. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The meeting is adjourned at 7:45.